At my daughter's graduation party, she stood up and announced, "My stepdad bought me a car. My real dad never did anything." I smiled, said nothing, and quietly left. The next morning, her college fund was empty, and that shiny new gift car? Repossessed. Now my ex wife won't stop calling, "Hey viewers, welcome to the channel. We're just getting started, so your support means a lot. If you enjoy stories like this, please subscribe and help us hit our first 1,000 subscribers. Thanks for being here." Now, Reddit. This one is going to make you absolutely furious before it turns satisfying. Trust me, my daughter Emma graduated high school last weekend. She's 18, valedictorian, and earned a full academic scholarship to our state university. I was proud as hell driving to her graduation party at my ex wife Sarah's house. What I didn't expect was to get humiliated in front of 50 people by the very kid I'd been supporting her entire life. Sarah and I divorced when Emma was 7. We kept things civil for her sake, agreed on shared custody, and I moved just 20 minutes away. I had her every other weekend, took her to dinner every Wednesday, and never missed a single child support payment in 11 years. When Sarah married Derek 4 years ago, I thought it might be good for Emma to have a stable home with two parents. Derek sells commercial insurance and acts like he's some Fortune 500 CEO, always posting about business ventures and investments, driving a leased BMW, and renting in an expensive neighborhood. Truth is, Derek's decent at making money, but he spends it even faster, living paycheck to paycheck just to keep up appearances. Meanwhile, I didn't just pay child support, I'd been contributing to a 529 college savings plan in my name since the day Emma was born. After 18 years of contributions and compound interest, it had grown to just over $91,000. Both Sarah and Emma knew about it, and I'd always called it Emma's college money. Legally, though, the account was mine until I chose to transfer it. On top of that, I paid Emma's car insurance, phone bill, half her dance lessons, school expenses, her pricey photography class in junior year, a new laptop, and even her senior trip to New York. If she needed something, I covered it, no questions asked. So I showed up to the graduation party with a professional camera as a gift, since she's been planning to minor in photography. The backyard was full of classmates, teachers, neighbors, and family. I was chatting with some other parents, beer in hand, when Derek stood up and tapped his beer bottle to get everyone's attention. "Thank you all for coming to celebrate Emma's incredible achievement," he began, his arm draped around her shoulders. As her stepdad, I couldn't be more proud of the young woman she's become. Then he pulled out a set of keys and held them up. "Emma, these belong to the brand new Honda Civic. Sitting in the driveway. It's yours, sweetheart." Emma screamed, hugged him, and started jumping up and down. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause. I clapped too, though I was a little annoyed Derek hadn't given me a heads up about such a big gift. Still, Emma deserved nice things. Then Emma took the microphone. "Thank you so much, Derek." Her voice carried across the entire backyard. "You know, growing up, I always wondered what it would feel like to have a dad who actually cared about me." I froze. At first, I thought she was just excited and speaking from the heart. But then she held up the keys. Someone who would make grand gestures like this. Someone who'd show me I mattered. Now I had a bad feeling. She was looking straight at me as she said it. "My stepdad bought me a car. My real dad never did anything like this. I guess now I know what it feels like to have someone who actually wants to invest in my future." The entire party went dead silent. 50 people stood there, eyes bouncing between her and me. My cousin Jake looked like he was ready to throw his beer. A few parents stared down at the grass, clearly uncomfortable. And Emma wasn't done. No, she was just getting started. This wasn't excitement, this was rehearsed. "I just want to thank Derek for stepping up and being the father figure I never had, for caring enough to make sure I have what I need. It means everything to me. She handed the microphone back to Derek, who stood there with the smuggest grin I'd ever seen. Sarah wouldn't even meet my eyes, just stared at her shoes like she wanted to vanish. I knew exactly what had happened. Derek had spent the past year convincing Emma that he was the real parent, and I was just some guy who showed up occasionally. And it had worked for about 10 seconds. I just stood there processing the fact that my daughter had told 50 people to their faces that I'd never done anything for her, that I wasn't a real father, and that her stepdad was better than me in every way. I could have made a scene. I could have rattled off everything I'd ever done for Emma: the college fund, the insurance, the phone bills, the school trips, the late night rides to friends' houses. But I didn't. Instead, I smiled, walked over to her, and gave her a hug. "Congratulations, sweetheart," I said. "I'm really proud of you." Then I walked out. No drama, no yelling, no confrontation. I just got in my car and drove home. On the drive back, her words kept replaying in my head about Derek investing in her future, about him making sure she had what she needed, about me never doing anything like that. When I got home, I sat down at my computer and started making calls. The college fund? It was a 529 plan in my name, which meant I had full control over it. I'd always planned to use it for her education, but legally it was my money to manage. First call, my insurance company. I scheduled her removal from my auto policy at the end of the month. Second call, the phone company. Same removal date. If Derek was going to be her real father, then he could handle the day to day expenses too. Monday morning, I transferred the entire college fund, $91,437, into my personal investment account. Then I started digging into Derek's big gift. Something felt off. Sure enough, I found out the truth. Derek hadn't actually bought Emma a car. He'd co signed a loan with her as the primary borrower. The payments were $340 a month. Emma had no job and no income. Derek's plan was to cover the payments for a while until she found part time work, but the bank required proof she could eventually take over. And guess who Derek listed as the financial reference on that loan? Me. Turns out Derek had used my income and financial stability as part of Emma's loan qualification without telling me. When the bank called for their routine follow up, I told them the truth. I wouldn't be providing any financial support for Emma's expenses from now on. Derek would be handling all of that. The bank didn't like that answer. An unemployed 18-year-old with no credit history and no family backing is a huge red flag. They started asking Derek some uncomfortable questions about his ability to make payments long term. He tried to bluff his way through, claiming he could cover it temporarily, but when they pressed for financial documentation, his debt to income ratio told the real story. Between his flashy lifestyle and maxed out obligations, he didn't have the room. 2 weeks later, Emma's car was gone. The bank demanded either full payment or return of the vehicle, and Derek couldn't come up with the cash. That afternoon, Sarah called me, furious. "The bank says you told them you wouldn't support her financially anymore." "That's right," I said. "Emma made it very clear Derek is a real father now, the one who invests in her future, who makes the grand gestures, who cares. So I figured it was time for him to take over the responsibilities too." "You're being ridiculous. She's 18." She said something thoughtless in excitement. "No, Sarah. She didn't say those things in excitement. She planned them. She looked me dead in the eye and told 50 people I'd never done anything for her, that Derek was the father I never was. Now Derek gets to be her father in every way that counts." Silence. Then her voice softened. "What about her college fund? What about it? She's counting on that money for expenses her scholarship doesn't cover, and Derek needs to provide it. He's her father now, remember?" Click. Sarah hung up. After that, the calls came in waves. That evening, Derek rang me, angry. What did you tell the bank? The truth. That Emma has a new father now, and that father is responsible for her finances. I never said I was replacing you as her dad. You didn't have to. You just stood there while Emma said it, smiling and taking all the credit. Look, I can't afford that car payment long term. I was hoping Emma would get a job and take it over. Then you shouldn't have co signed for something you couldn't afford. What about the college fund? She needs that money. That's my money. And Emma made it clear she doesn't think I've ever done anything for her. So why would I give it to her? This is insane. You're punishing a kid for being grateful to her stepdad. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just letting you be the father Emma says she's always wanted. You wanted the credit. Now you get the responsibility. Click. Derek hung up. The next day, Emma called me, sobbing. Dad, why did you take my college money? Emma, you're 18 years old. You stood in front of everyone and told them Derek was your real father, that he invested in your future, that I had never done anything for you. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it, Emma? Because you looked right at me when you said it. You weren't talking to Derek. You weren't talking to Mom. You were talking to me, making sure I heard every word. I was just excited about the car. The car that got repossessed because Derek couldn't actually afford it. Silence. Emma, do you understand what just happened? Derek made a big show with money he did not have. He used my financial stability to back up your loan and then let you embarrass me in front of everyone. Now that there are real problems, he cannot step up. I am sorry, she said. I did not mean to hurt you. Emma, I have been hurt before. This is not about my feelings. This is about you making a choice. You chose Derek as your father. Now you have to live with that choice. But what about college? She asked. What about it? Derek will figure it out. He is your father now. She hung up on me. Over the next week, things got interesting. Emma's friends started posting on social media about how unfair it was and how I was a terrible father for leaving my daughter. But my cousin Jake, who was at the party, posted the real story about how Emma had planned those words and how she looked right at me when she said them. Sarah called me Friday night. She said Emma is working double shifts at the restaurant where she got a summer job. She's trying to save money for college. Good for her, I said. Sounds like she is learning responsibility. Derek says he can help with some of the costs, but not all of it, Sarah said. How much can he help with? I asked. He thinks maybe he can cover her textbooks and supplies, so the man who is going to invest in her future can cover maybe $2,000 in expenses. He is doing his best, Sarah said. Sarah. I saved over $90,000 for Emma's future. Derek can maybe handle textbooks. Do you see the difference? She made a mistake, Sarah said, and now she is learning that mistakes have consequences. Derek called me Saturday. His tone was different now, less angry, more desperate. Look, he said, maybe we can work something out. Emma is really having a hard time with this college money problem. Derek, you told everyone at that party that you were the one investing in Emma's future. You bought her a car to prove it. So invest in her future. I cannot come up with $90,000, he said. Then maybe you should not have convinced Emma that you were better than her real father. I never said I was better than you, he said. You did not have to say it. You let Emma say it while you stood there taking the praise. Come on, man. Do not make Emma suffer for something that got out of hand. I'm not making her suffer, I said. I'm holding her responsible for her choice. She chose you as her father. Now you get to be her father. He hung up. Emma came to my house the next Sunday. She looked tired, like she had been working all the time and not sleeping well. Dad, can we talk? She asked. Sure, I said. Come in. We sat in my living room and she started crying. I know I messed up, she said. I know what I said was wrong. Emma, I am not angry with you, I said. I am disappointed, but not angry. Then why will you not help me with college? Because you made a choice, I said. You chose Derek as your father. You told everyone I had never done anything for you. You cannot reject me in public and then expect me in private to keep paying for your life. But I need help, she said. Then Derek needs to give it, she said quietly. He cannot afford it, she said. Emma, let me ask you something. How much do you think I have spent on you over the years? I do not know, she said. Between child support insurance, your phone, school expenses, activities, and the college fund, it is probably close to $200,000 over 18 years. Derek bought you a car he could not afford and let it get taken back. Do you see the difference? Emma was quiet for a long time. I really messed up, did I not? She said finally. Yes, you did. Is there any way to fix this? Emma, you did not just hurt my feelings. You embarrassed me in front of family, friends, and neighbors. You told everyone I had never done anything for you. Do you know how that felt? I am sorry, she said. I know you are. But sorry does not change what happened. Sorry does not change that you let Derek turn you against me. So, what happens now? She asked. Now, you figure out how to pay for college without my help. You wanted Derek to be your father, so Derek gets to handle your expenses. But he cannot do what you did, she said. Then maybe you should have thought about that before you decided I was not good enough to be your father. Emma left after that. She did not argue or make a scene. She just left, looking defeated. It has been 3 weeks now and the situation has changed. Emma is working full time at the restaurant and has applied for more student loans to cover living costs. She also applied for work study programs at college to help pay for things. Derek has stayed away from the whole college money conversation. It turns out his ability to invest in Emma's future was only about making big gestures he could not afford. Sarah calls me every few days, usually to make me feel bad about Emma's situation. Yesterday, she tried something different. Emma has learned her lesson, she said. She knows she was wrong. Is that not enough, Sarah? This is not about teaching Emma a lesson. This is about the fact she made a choice. She chose Derek as her father figure. Now, Derek gets to figure out how to support her. But Derek cannot provide what you can, she said. Exactly, I said. And maybe Emma should have thought about that before she rejected me in public. The truth is, I do feel bad about Emma's situation, but I also know she is 18 and made an adult choice to humiliate me in front of everyone. Now she has to live with the adult results of that choice. Emma wanted Derek to be her father so Derek can figure out how to pay for her college. I am done being the backup money for someone who thinks I never did anything for them. I have $91,000 I was going to give to someone who appreciated me. Now I am thinking about buying the fishing boat I always wanted. Or maybe I will just invest it and retire a little earlier. Either way, Emma made her choice at that graduation party. Now she gets to live with it.